Our nation has suffered many at the hands of dangerous people who use guns to commit horrific acts of violence. Greenhaven Press reports that as President Obama said the following Sandy Hook Elementary School tragedy, we won't be able to stop every violent act, but if there is even one thing that we can do to prevent any of these events, we have a deep obligation, all of us, to try. As college students, we are faced with the uncertainties of school shootings every time we walk into a classroom. Even teachers have the same fears. Many schools all around the country are dealing with these same situations and are trying to figure out what it is that causes these national tragedies. As a college student and an elementary education major, I feel it is necessary to be very knowledgeable on our country's history of school shootings. School shootings have increased into one of the country's reoccurring problems. As a future elementary school teacher, I thought this section of Top News would be an excellent topic to do research on. A few unforgettable school shootings from our nation's past that I will be informing you on are the Bath School disaster of 1927, Columbine, and Sandy Hook. To begin, we will start off with the first major school shooting the United States had to face. The very first in American history was the Bath School disaster of 1927. Andrew Cahoe, the 55-year-old school board treasurer, was angry after his defeat in the spring 1926 election for the township clerk. He was thought to have planned this murderous revenge after the public defeat and had a reputation for difficulty on the school board and personal dealings. In addition, on June 26, he was notified and had a mortgage and was going to be foreclosed. For much of the next year, a neighbor noticed that Cahoe stopped working on his farm and thought he might be planning suicide. During this period, Cahoe purchased explosives and discreetly planted them on his property and under the school. Nicholas Bockler, editor of School Shootings, reported that the Bath School disaster is a historical name of the violent attacks perpetrated by Andrew Cahoe on May 18, 1927, in the Bath Township, Michigan, that killed 38 elementary school children and 6 adults in total, and injured at least 58 other people. Cahoe first killed his wife, firebombed his farm, and set off the major explosions in the Bath Consolidated School. Before committing suicide, he detonated a final explosion in his truck. The Bath School disaster is the deadliest mass murder in school in the United States history and was the start of many more to come. Here is a picture of Andrew Cahoe. The Columbine High School massacre was a school shooting that occurred on April 20th, 1999 at the Columbine High School in Columbine, Colorado. In addition to the shootings, the complex and high-planned attack involved a firebomb to divert firefighters, propane tanks to convert to bombs placed in the cafeteria, explosive devices, and bomb-rigged cars. Psychological reports of schools says the 2 senior students, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, murdered a total of 12 students and 1 teacher. They injured 24 additional students and 3 other people during being injured while attempting to escape the school. The pair then committed suicide. The Columbine High School massacre at this time was the deadliest mass murder committed on American high school campus. It is noticed to be one of the first and most serious of the series of high school profile spree shootings which have since occurred. Louise Gertis, editor of the book Violence, reports, on December 14, 2012, 20-year-old Adam Lanza fatally shot 20 children and 6 adult staff members in the mass murder at Sandy Hook Elementary School. In the village of Sandy Hook in Newtown, Connecticut, before driving to the school, Lanza shot and killed his mother, Nancy, in their Newtown home. As first responders arrived, he committed suicide by shooting himself in the head. The shooting at Sandy Hook was the second deadliest mass shooting by a single person in American history after the 2007 Virginia Tech massacre, the second deadliest mass murder as a U.S. elementary school after the 1927 Bath School bombings in Michigan. The shootings prompt renewed debate about gun control in the United States and a proposal of new legislation banning the sale and manufacture of certain types of semi-automatic firearms and magazines than more than 10 rounds of ammunition. Here is a picture of Adam Lanza. the killer of Sandy Hook. In many ways, these unforgettable stories, Bath School disaster of 1927, Columbine, and Sandy Hook, have influenced many other shootings that have occurred throughout this nation, and not only in schools. According to the White House press room, the president believes that the Second Amendment guarantees an individual right to bear arms, and he respects our nation's rich hunting and sport shooting traditions and the millions of responsible Americans who participate in them every year. But this right comes with responsibility to safely store guns and prevent them from accidentally or intentionally being used for harm others. If even one child's life can be saved, then we need to act. Now it is time to do what is right thing for our children, our communities, and the country that we love.